a gross mucus blood lining of the bladder coming out in all its disgustingness.
Bruh.
It's a good thing I already ate.
Look at the size of this one. What the fuck?
Yeah. And so imagine just posting this and not saying, damn, I just pissed this out. I'm going to the hospital, we'll report later. Coach Greg, in today's video, it's looking real bad for John Skywalker. Remember, John Skywalker was hospitalized not once, but twice for congestive heart failure. And on top of that, he was put into a mental psych ward not once, but twice for mental breakdowns. And despite the fact that his heart was actually getting better, it went up from an ejection fraction of 10%. It's now up to 20%. He then posted several videos of a substance that is coming out of his downstairs.
Don't ever do ketamine, dude. You'll be pissing shit like this out. Holy shit, that hurt. Dude, that's huge.
And so you can see him clearly showing just how big that is. It's perhaps up to an inch long. And because of his history of abusing vitamin K, he stated that he'd been abusing it for perhaps 3 years. And we know in addition to this, he was formerly abusing performance-enhancing drugs, namely steroids, and perhaps using other recreational substances that you probably shouldn't be using. This is coming from a guy who formerly had his physique that many men aspired to have. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers worldwide, aspiring to look just like him. The more you abuse things, the worse that it can get. When you first start doing something, perhaps it's vitamin K, perhaps it's steroids, you're not thinking that you're gonna get addicted. You perhaps think, oh, it'll just be one cycle. It's just for tonight. Before you know it, you're addicted and you cannot stop. John Skywalker almost died, and now he's going through this. This is a medical emergency. He needs to go to the hospital right now. And so what I do believe is happening is permanent cystitis, which is coming from his use of vitamin K repeatedly for years. Now, he's saying don't use vitamin K. Now, if you just do it once or twice in low doses, or perhaps even 10 times, once a month, whatever, it's most likely not going to do this. This is most likely from repeated doses and a history of using vitamin K more than last time. Now, I'm not recommending that you do vitamin K, but if you, for example, abuse alcohol, if you're drinking every day, bad things are going to happen. Everything in moderation. FYI, I went to Now Hair Time, and so if you're interested in that, you can go and follow Now Hair Time on Instagram.
Damn, look, I just pissed out another one.
Oh my God, it's even bigger.
That shit.
Oh my God. A, how did he get that in his hand? He just pissed it out. It's in his hand. Yeah, look at the size of that thing. How the hell does that come out of you? I mean, it's the size of my baby finger. He had to piss that shit out. I mean, is bro Venom?
And then we will eat your face right off your head. Do you understand?
It molds itself skinnily, fits through his downstairs, and upon entering the toilet, it then configures itself into a glob such as this. And then he sees it in the toilet, reaches in and says, "What are you?" It's like a gross mucus blood lining of the bladder coming out in all its disgustingness.
Bruh.
It's a good thing I already ate.
Damn, look, I just pissed out another one. Look at that shit.
And so imagine just posting this and not saying, damn, I just pissed this out. I'm going to the hospital, we'll report later. No, he just continues to piss this shit out, stays at home.
Look at the size of this one. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the hell is bro packing? How does something that big come out? And so Connor writes, is this recent? Yeah, it's recent. And so my response, ketamine cystitis, not good. That image is a graphic example of a condition known as ketamine-induced cystitis. What you see in the person's hand is a piece of the bladder lining, the mucosa, that is detached and has passed through the urine. In the medical community and among users, this is often referred to as bladder shred. His bladder is no longer formed to the inside of his body, and so it's simply excreted in his urine. It's like, we don't want any of this anymore. How it happens, the pathology. K and its metabolites are highly toxic to the urinary system. When they sit in the bladder before being expelled, direct toxicity, they cause severe chemical irritation, inflammation of the bladder wall, tissue death known as necrosis. This inflammation is so intense it cuts off blood supply to parts of the bladder lining. It causes the tissue to die. Passing tissue is an advanced sign of K bladder Other symptoms include extreme pain. It would feel like you're pissing glass or razor blades. I mean, he did describe it being painful. How could it not? Look at the size of that thing. I thought you put that stuff behind you, dude. It just explains how difficult it is to stop. When people are addicted, you can't stop. Hence the word addiction. Just because somebody says, oh, by the way, you have lung cancer. You got it from smoking. You really think that they can just quit smoking? Oh, now that you think of it, I'm just going to stop. Or like Clavicular was promoting, doing math in order to jawbone max or hollow cheek max, whatever. You can't just stop. You're addicted to doing math. Math is so fun. You're doing the addition, subtraction, multiplications. And somebody says, you know what? If you keep doing that, you're going to die. You can't just stop. You can't just cut it off. It's the same thing with performance-enhancing drugs. For example, steroids. Although they're not physically addictive, although you could argue that they are, if you've been a bodybuilder for, say, 10 years of using steroids, and suddenly they say, oh, you know what? Your kidneys aren't doing so good. Your cholesterol's out of whack. Your liver function isn't very good. You have a heart condition. You just got to stop the steroids. Do you think it's easy to stop? Well, what happened to Kali Muscle? He literally had a heart attack and was still abusing steroids. Oh, I'm on HRT doses. His testosterone levels were 1,500 nanograms per deciliter. And what happened? Another heart attack. By the way, if you want to get your blood work done to see if you're healthy or to get, for example, GLPs or testosterone and clomiphene, the list goes on and on. You can go to AlgoRx. Don't forget to use code Greg for 10% off. Remember, it's pharmaceutical. It's not dangerous. It's not sketchy. It's not some kind of bullshit made in a lab. It's proper medical grade prescribed by doctors. All above board. And so if you're interested, of course, code Greg. POV, you go back on every word you've said about addiction. Did you really not learn a thing from what's happened to you, brother? Come on, man. Wish you all the best. And so when people see it from the outside looking in, they're thinking, just stop. You said you would stop. Why don't you stop? Don't you care? They can't stop. If they could, they would. Does that make sense? When somebody's 400 or 500 pounds, do you think they want to be 400 or 500 pounds? Rarely, perhaps maybe, but in almost any rational, normal human being, when you see somebody who's 300 or 400 pounds, they want to lose weight. They might say they're happy. They might say body positivity, more to love. And then they get on the Ozempic, the terzipatide, and they lose 100 pounds. And all of a sudden, they're showing pictures smiling of how much weight they lost. And so I believe that essentially, with a few exceptions, every single obese, fat piece of shit loser that doesn't give a shit about their health, they're lazy, they don't go to the gym, they eat all kinds of junk food, they're addicted. They can't stop. And they're coping by saying, no, this isn't unhealthy. Obesity doesn't kill people, it's other diseases. The diabetes, it's not from obesity, that's just what they tell us to shame on us. Nope, you're just fat and you're gonna die because you're addicted to food. Now, I understand you're addicted, and I understand that you perhaps want to stop but can't. Have you gotten my cookbook? I mean, did you not at least try? You're addicted, but why not get addicted to lower calorie recipes from my friggin' cookbook? And so if you're interested, code Greg 15% off. And do we already know that the only addiction that you should be on is literally on the Turk Max? Turk Max can save lives. If instead of using vitamin K or meth or eating a bunch of shit food, you use Turk Max, you're gonna live longer. And so by proxy, I can say that Turk Max saves more lives than anything in the world. It's perhaps the leading cure of every disease. If you take Turk Max and you go to the gym and do cardio, I believe you'll outlive every medication invented today. And so if you're interested in the life-saving medication of Turk Max, click the link in the description, code Greg, 15% off. And if you are in fact unemployed, which you most certainly are, you are, code unemployed for 20% off. POV, that one bro in 3 years who hopped on the Chinese peptide trend. John Bravo, bro, I'm sick. I just realized it's April 1st. If only this were an April Fool's joke. We wish it was, but unfortunately, this is a real thing. You might be thinking there's no way that this exists. This vitamin K induced condition of the bladder. Unfortunately, it's a real thing. This is the 4th video. Are you good? At what point do you go to the hospital? What in God's name is that? A fetus? Did bro just transcend? Is he perhaps going through some asexual reproduction? He's spawning his own DNA. Damn, man, you're pissing chunks out of your bladder. Stop doing vitamin K, you drug addicted. I looked up to you, now you complain about your health and do drugs. That comment doesn't help anyone. Like, you looked up to him. You knew he was doing performance-enhancing drugs. You knew he was abusing recreational substances. And you looked up to him. And then now that he's suffering those consequences, you're shitting on him. You're hating him. You respected him when he was at the top. You loved it. He was partying. He was having a great time, abusing tren. And now that those things have damaged his body, his organs, and most likely taking years of his life away, you then turn on him. What does that tell you about yourself? Wishing John Skywalker the best. I most certainly hope he can get to the hospital and check himself out. I know sometimes ignorance is bliss. You wish to avoid going to get checked out. You're scared of what might transpire, but with knowledge comes power. It's better to know. At least have the decency to go to a hospital, get checked out, and do what they tell you to do in order to get better. Interested in the HDLT supplements? Use code Greg for 15% off. The cookbooks as well. And if you would like to get sponsored by myself, click the link. Coaching plans myself and my team. Click the link. And if you want to carry the supplements in your store and or gym, click the link as well. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algo. Go to AlgoRx, code Greg for the discount. And don't forget to watch the 2 loops, but really only the bottom one this time. And until next time, I am out.